Živijo, tukaj je Anžet, poslušate podcast Aparatus, kjer legitimni člani družbe povejo, kaj počnejo v življenju.
Tole je 139. epizoda Aparatusa. Okay, tole ni 139. epizoda Aparatusa. Jaz sem pač bolan že čist predolg cajta, skoraj mesec. In mi tokrat ni rad posneti, sem že vse z gostom zmenjen in vse, ampak mi je pač pljuča, so me res čist izdala. In mi ni rad posneti, tako da sem rekel, bom vse nekaj dal ven. To je pa pogovor, ko sem jaz gostoval v podkastu Defocused. Zdaj mi sledite na Twitterju ali pa ste videli na Facebooku, ste morda že videli to je bilo tudi posnet nekaj cajta nazaj, mislim, tudi v tem mesecu sem bil tudi že malo bolan, ampak takrat me mati narava še ni čisto pretepla, tako kot me je zdaj. Je pa to podcast, ki ga delata Joe in Dan. Joe sem zelo spoznal, ko sem bil v Ameriki, mislim, da se tudi malo o tem pogovarjamo in potem jaz Dana zabavam, zakaj on ni prišel v Los Angeles, ko sem bil jaz tam, ki ste živi v Phoenixu. Sicer sta pa ona pač dva, ki delata v bistvu zabavni industriji v Ameriki, se pravi delata v bistvu, gremo temu reči, special efekte, no? Ampak tudi to ni čisto res. Preveč da razlagam, je se brez plača poslušati tudi njune intervjuje, ko sem jih imel v Aparatusu, bom dal linke, kljale pod epizodo. Delata pa ona ta podcast, kjer se večino pogovarjate nekako o starih filmih ali pa o filmih, pa na vsake tok cajta imata tudi gosta, mene se zdaj že ta drugič povabila. To je eden mojih najljubših podcastov, ker je pač mal tak čuden, ne znam čisto točno razložiti. Zberete en film, potem greste čez ta film in se o njemu pač pogovarjata. Tako da to, kar smo govorili po filmu Spies Like Us, kjer igrata Dan Aykroyd pa Chevy Chase in gresta nekje v Rusijo, sej gremo v bistvu čez cel film. Sem pa jaz, ker kle sem bil res tudi že malo bolan. Že spet ne bilo zagovoril, tako da sem govoril o korentovanju, sem Američanom razlagal, pa o Fordu Kugi, pa o Ladi Nivi, pač nekaj smo se v džipih pogovarjali. Kar vedno se sliši bizarno, jaz mislim, da pač ta Defocused je zmerno dosti zabaven pogovor, no, pa upam, da tudi jaz nisem tako weird izpadel. Pa lahko mi pišete na anzej@aparatus.si in mi poveste, kaj vse sem narobe povedal o korentovanju, ker res o korentovanju ne vem nič, ampak smo se pač o tem pogovarjali. Tako da ja, to je v bistvu tale skoraj da Aparatus. Zdaj naslednjič bomo itak imeli festivalus, ki je zdaj že taka tradicionalna novoletna epizoda, pol po novem letu, prijem pa že spet z intervjuji nazaj, ko bo mati narava končno rekla, da je dosti demoliranja mojih pljuč, tudi zdaj vmes ne slište, ampak sem ene 4krat prekinil in kašljal, ker pač bljuvam ven vse živo. Tega ne bi smel povedati, ampak sem to godil, da sem mogel. Okay. To je to, kar se intro tiče, to je torej 139. Aparatus oziroma 124. Defocused, pa če vam bo tale epizoda všeč, pejte na defocused.co, ker Joe pa Dan res fajn podcast delata, sploh če so vam všeč ta neka 80-90 filmi, no. Evo, jaz, Joe pa Dan, Spies Like Us. What number episode is this?
124?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and
So-
you were on quite a long time ago for an episode number I can't even remember off the top of my head.
Around 50 something, right? 50 something. Well, you know, people can just
55.
Google soft flaccid 55.
Episode
yeah.
55, A Soft Flaccid Waffle with Anžet Tomića, and we discussed Stripes from 1981.
Yep. I think we can all agree the best episode of this show. Like, we'll just, you know.
It's
we can all
certainly the
agree
best
that.
title we've ever had.
Yes, man, the person who said that title must be feeling really terrible about themselves.
Well, I genuinely think that is the best title on the entire Incomparable network. Like, that's...
I mean, it's got its own Twitter account now. There is a soft flaccid waffle running around on the internet.
Well, yeah, and deservedly so. So, yeah,
Well-
I like that. That's still, because when people ask me, "Oh, you've been on some like American shows," and I'm like, "Yep, just listen to that one. Just ignore everything else." Just,
Yeah, when I met you in LA when you were out here, and you told me the story about how you were playing that episode for your friends on a Chromecast in your living room, I was just like, oh my god, why were we torturing them?
Didn't you have a listening party to at least listen to the end half of that episode or something?
Yeah, we just we invited some people over and we got to talk. I don't know how it came out. I probably just brought it up, to be honest. It was like casual conversation because I like to bring up that episode. And then we basically listened to the best part of it, where someone named Joe says soft flaccid waffle.
But just to clarify, you didn't invite people over for the express purpose of playing the waffle bit for them.
Well, no, not really. But it was like it was a given that it's gonna come up basically because it's like a social evening. So yep, there was about 9 people in our living room listening to that. So fun times.
What other types of food can we argue about? I don't know that we have anything. We never really solved the waffle pancake dispute.
No, I would say we didn't.
No, but like I had tacos when I was in LA, so
Joe, where did he eat tacos? Did he go to Taco Bell or something?
No.
I have no idea where he went.
In Santa Monica, a place next to a, let's say, corporate building of a certain entertainment company, which I don't think I'm allowed to mention. So yeah, I ate tacos, which were great. And when I met Joe, I hugged him. I just want that for the record.
Sure.
I am one of the few people on planet Earth that were allowed to hug awkwardly Joe Steele. So, it was everything I imagined it to be.
I don't know why everyone wants to hug me.
Because you hate being hugged.
Yes.
But I feel like at a certain point, it would be obvious that I don't want to be hugged.
No, we're going to wear you down. We're gonna get you. At some point, you're just going to be... You're going to get on our side, you're going to get into the meme, and then you're just going to start hugging people back, and it's going to make their day.
Yeah, yep. Okay, so we'll just Stockholm Syndrome you. That'll be great.
Yeah, basically.
We're going to Stockholm hug you into hugging people back.
Yeah, no, because it was exactly as I imagined it before, because I told Lursha, my girlfriend, we were going to the place where we met, say, I have to hug Joe. She's like, what? I have to hug him because he hates being hugged. And she said, okay. She just understood instantly what that was all about. So yeah, so I just kind of leaned in and Joe just stood there very awkwardly, which was awesome. Just a crappy hug, but just great for me because just one of those bucket list things I have checked off now. So go to LA and hug Joe Steele. That's it.
I don't think I've hugged Joe, so maybe I have to do that next time.
Oh, you I mean, it's really awkward because you feel like you're the aggressor basically. It's not. It's in no way mutual, but he kind of just stands there and waits for it to be over. Well, it was awesome. Yeah.
It's like hugging an uncomfortable mannequin or something.
Oh, just a mannequin. That's
Yeah, what are the comfort levels for mannequins exactly?
I don't know. I mean, they could be wearing a turtleneck or something. You don't know.
Yeah. Well, he was wearing the ATP shirt, the BMW ATP shirt. So yeah,
it's an attractive shirt.
Yeah, it's a good shirt. I had the clockwise shirt on, I think. Yeah.
Was anybody wearing our shirt? Our very attractive 80s themed shirt?
What were you wearing, Dan?
Probably sweatpants because I was at home.
Yes, you were.
No, it was the summertime, so I just would have been wearing like basketball shorts or something.
Yep.
Because
some people showed up and some people didn't. That's all I'm going to say.
Some people were working and couldn't drive 5.5 hours to Los Angeles.
Well, that's one way of looking at it. Yeah. You know what the other way is? Like what the other way of looking at it is? Like you didn't show up. And I was sad.
I'm sorry, I was sad as well. One of these days I will find a way to meet you and awkwardly hug you too.
Yeah. Oh no, I imagine when we hug it's gonna be like a proper hug, Not a man versus mannequin challenge. But yeah. So
anyway, movies and stuff. You watching a good movie lately?
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about Spies Like Us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're only allowed to be on the show to talk about Cold War Russian-related movies.
That have a comedic element.
Sure.
That's my niche. That's my niche, basically. Yeah.
Do you gentlemen find this movie to be very funny?
I find parts of it to be very funny. I find most of it to not be funny at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Parts of it are really great, but then there's the whole rest of the movie, which is not that great. Yeah.
It's very slow, isn't it? It's like they shot the movie and they cut it together and it was like 45 minutes. They're like, well, we can't do that. We have to like stretch it out.
Yeah, it's surprising too, because it's John Landis and Dan Aykroyd and Chevy Chase and we just assume that it would be punchier than this, but it's actually pretty low key in certain parts, especially all the drawn out stuff with the very dry DIA heads and the DoD guys talking back and forth for some long scenes, and then a lot of miniature laser work that takes a very long time. But there's still funny stuff, like taking the test with Frank Oz as the test taker monitor, and there's the funny bits when they go into the tent, they do the doctor thing, which I might be one of the 5 people that dies laughing at that joke, but it works on me. And then there's some of the little tiny one-liners that pop in here and there, but then there's also like some stuff that was supposed to be funny that did not work at all. Like when they're trying to they're trying to learn how to be the GLG-20 spies, and they're going through all the stuff at the training camp. That was dead air for the entire time. There was nothing really funny there, especially like, well, we're going to sit in the pod and do the funny faces as we go really fast, quote unquote, and then we're going to walk out and we're going to have funny faces stuck, frozen rictus of pain. And it's just like that was the low bar for comedy in the 80s, I guess. But it's the other stuff that I think is funny. Also, Donna Dixon was Dan Aykroyd's wife, and she is not very believable as a DIA GLG-20 operative, but she's there. Yeah.
Is like the GLG-20 a thing, an actual thing? Is that like that well known? Because you're saying it like it's like just matter of factly.
No,
the GLG-20 operatives, but like, is that a thing, or did you just see it in the movie and you're just repeating it now?
I'm repeating what was in the movie because as far as I know, it is not a thing, and I've never heard of it before outside of this film. It could very well be a thing, because like the DIA is a thing, but again, I mean, I hear about the CIA and the FBI and the NSA and all that stuff, but does anyone talk about the DIA? No, not really. And like the whole purpose that they're supposed to be serving is basically as like careers in some capacity. It all just it's not believable, but you know, it's no worse than a Winnebago that has ornaments that pop out of it.
That Winnebago was pretty dope, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Actually, I think isn't the GLG-20, isn't that an Infiniti sedan?
Oh, American cars and the numbers. Just don't even start. It's
a Japanese car, but it's an American brand of a Japanese car. But
yeah, that's an Infiniti's Nissan, right?
Yeah.
Which basically makes it a Renault. You do know that, right? That's Nissan's. I think Nissan and Renault are one company now.
Yeah, and they also have some weird engine sharing deal with Daimler for Mercedes engines. They trade back and forth on some products. Cars are weird, but so anyway, after I said in episode 55 that Anžet should come back and we should talk about this film, and everybody hadn't seen it, and I just said it over and over again. Did you feel like it was perhaps overhyped by me in some regard, and that you were expecting a lot of humorous stuff in here that was like wall-to-wall comedy?
Well, I did see the movie like when I was a kid, because like Stripes, it was on TV at some point, right? But
did you have a VHS tape of this one too?
No, because this one's not as good, right? Stripes is basically, you know, Godfather 2 territory, but like this is this is just, you know, I'm just gonna say that. But yeah, this one I did not tape, so I do remember it though. But I didn't know, like it was in my mind as a, I guess, fun movie, which, you know, if it's on TV you'll watch it, but nothing special. But it's worse than that. It's not as good, to be honest, because I've seen it twice now when you guys said we're gonna do this, and yeah, it's not. I don't know. I will agree with the doctor scene. That is funny. Okay, I will say that. But yeah, you did hype it up a little. But yeah, I think I knew what I was getting into, and it's no Stripes. You know, this is more Godfather 3 territory, right? So,
well, yeah. I mean, John Landis went on to do Beverly Hills Cop 3, so John Landis isn't purely in charge of gold masterpieces. So Dan, you hadn't seen it at all, and
no, I've seen I've seen small parts of it again on TV, and I guess I had assumed I had missed a lot more of it than I had. Like I saw, most of that business with the missile towards the end there, save for the very last scene back at the stupid conference room or whatever, and I've seen the doctor stuff. But yeah, I thought there was more. I mean, I guess you've got your requisite like training scene in there or something where, it's military, you got to have training antics, but this movie's just like not funny military bit, like jokey play on words thing, nuclear missiles, and then everybody has sex, and that's basically it. And then then the movie ends. It's like, well, okay. I mean, it's Chevy Chase and Dan Aykroyd doing stuff in the 80s, so there's some amusement there. I mean, I think the thing I laughed the hardest at was when Chevy Chase had to smash the little briefcase satcom thing with the rock, and he just like tapped it with the rock and it exploded and shot sparks everywhere, and he jumped up in the air. I mean, that was funny, but other than that, I mean, it's very slow. It's very, very slow, especially the opening of this movie. Like that credits with the guy and the ever zooming camera lens following the van. It's like, what am I looking at here?
No one really needed to see that opening crane shot of them tracking with the guy going into the Ace Tomato Company van, and then it slowly pulls up and reveals.
We have 500 extras milling about back and forth in this alleyway. We gotta keep them on camera as long as we can to get the most out of our money for this.
Yeah, and then he drives past every Washington monument that you can drive past, just to show that they spent the money to shoot in Washington D.C., I guess.
And there's a bunch of like really patriotic music like under all of that.
Yeah, this is scored by Elmer Bernstein, who did a lot of stuff in the 80s, and he kind of just does some really shticky. I don't know how to describe it. It's sort of like what you. It's what you think of for that genre. So like when they go to the desert and it's Lawrence of Arabia music, basically, almost. And so it's not quite as sophisticated as some other things. But he doesn't really do that many sophisticated things like Ghostbusters, the Black Cauldron, which I guess I would count as something, but Airplane. Animal House. I mean, he's fine, but it's not all amazing. He also did the score for Stripes, but don't let that make you hate the movie.
Yeah, but that opening scene, I don't. Yeah, it's weird because you never see the Tomato Ace Company again, right? That's all it is.
Well,
it's on the side of the big shipping container that they drop into Pakistan or Morocco, or wherever that actually was.
It's a throwaway thing. It's it means nothing. But there's this really expensive long shot at the beginning of a van, which is a nice van. I've always appreciated the American van. I will say that. I do. No, because there's this thing with no, seriously, because it's the A-Team van, right?
Yeah,
that was always such a cool van to me when I was a kid, because it was the A-Team van, right? Because over here we have like the classic, Ford Transit sort of van, which is not the prototypical sort of American van. Yeah, because if you guys saw Stranger Things, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The van that flies when 11 just kind of throws it in the air and stuff. See, that's the same van as is in this movie.
Yeah, I think it's like an Econoline or something. I don't know. That's
what it looks like. We could probably find one of those for like $200 around here, and then just like do a Kickstarter to have it shipped to you if you want one.
Yeah, no, because they're like we just don't have those over here. I did see one when we were in Death Valley because we spent a night in Death Valley. So there was a couple from Pennsylvania that had one of those A-Team vans, but it was made into an RV thing with like larger windows and a bed and stuff.
Yeah, see, they call that a conversion van. So
okay,
it's another category.
Okay.
You could convert it into like a mobile podcasting unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. It's just I always appreciate those vans, probably because of the A-Team, but yeah,
Okay, so
Anyway.
vans, check. I was going to say, they also talk about, they mentioned they're from the Ace Tomato Company when they go to the drive-in theater in Nevada later, the two DIA guys. Yeah. But other than that, it's not really anything other than this is the ridiculous front for this company. And we get the satellite shot with the lens opening, and it says, like weather satellite, definitely not anything militarily important on the side of it, which kind of made me chuckle a little bit, because it just sort of reveals that this is not a realistic film very early in the production. And there's the odd scene with the two senior DIA guys who we meet even before we meet the main characters, where they have the guy go in the closet because they don't know what to do, and that scene goes on way too long, and they are just talking about a photograph that the satellite took, and that was the whole point of it. And then they talk about how they are going to get somebody expendable because there's some sort of leak in the training operation, which is how the other GLG-20s that were supposed to go on this mission died. And
I just love how you say GLG-20.
Well, they just keep saying it like nonstop in this film.
I know.
They couldn't just say agents. They just say GLG-20s every single time. But they agree that they're going to find decoys for this, and people that are expendable. And they're talking to the general, war happy guy. I don't know what his name is. And they
general war happy guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I think that's him. Yeah.
They then cut to Chevy Chase sitting there with headphones on, watching. I think it's one of the old Bob Hope on the Road movies. I'm not sure. And he's just loudly watching it with those ridiculous 80s headphones that have the big plastic rectangles on the side and the big foam balls for the part that goes in your ear. Those things just look ridiculous and uncomfortable. They look like some sort of medieval torture device in modern times. But he can somehow not hear the person across the desk from him because the movie is so loud. And this is interesting because it establishes that he's not studying for the test that he should be studying for.
Yeah, this is your hilarious that, government workers in the United States are just lazy and don't do anything. And then later we have working in the government is full of bureaucracy and full of just angry people who will take out a grudge on you. When we get to Dan Aykroyd, it's like, the American government does not work very well. And then you've got these grumpy covert guys who just feel like starting World War III because they can profit. Well, not really profit from it, just because they're insane people, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a universal theme, just by the way, like government workers, that whole stereotype, it's the same over here. I think that's pretty much in every country. It's not an American thing.
Well, I thought it was, the Russian folks that have the little barricade before you get into the state. They drink vodka and are easily tricked by attractive women, like in Stripes.
Yep, that's Russia for you.
Okay, cool. That's all we need to know, right?
Oh, I am hopefully I am actually going to Russia in about 2 months, I think.
Are you going to wear one of those giant fluffy seal costumes like in this movie here?
No, but since I'm going in January, everybody, including my girlfriend who's actually been there, has told me to just wear 17 T-shirts and underpants when I go there because it's gonna be freezing. But hopefully I'll actually be for 3 days. I'll be in Moscow in about 2 months. So
well,
see, if you get one of those big fluffy white jackets, though, you're very tall. They might think you're like a Yeti or something.
Yeah, but that's. I just hope I don't get shot then.
Yeah. How do you write government dissident in Russian and put that on the back of the shirt?
I'll ask Ursha. She can, she'll email you.
Yeah. Well, good luck.
Good luck on the not getting shot or whatever.
Yeah. And people who mysteriously just disappear and stuff. So hopefully you'll be back for another episode. And
we can do an actual Russia episode if you want. I'll just come back and tell you what it was like for 3 days in Moscow.
Sure, if in as much as you're allowed to say, with people presumably listening in on the line.
Well, yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Well, this took a turn.
Where were we? Oh, can I
We
just
were,
say something?
on our way to Russia.
No, because when you said like the opening, like the first third of this movie, like if you exclude the whole van, which again is a really nice van, but then that closet scene, like the whole Chevy Chase watching the movie and Dan Aykroyd being smart in the basement and all of that stuff, like I do find that stuff great. It's sort of those are the scenes that I actually enjoy the most in this movie. That and the test taking scene. I think it's somehow, I don't know, it's the same with Stripes when Bill Murray and Ramis are in the apartment and stuff. Like, I love those scenes, right? And it's the same here. It's just, sort of people in America doing stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I just kind of just wanted to say that because it kind of, the training then is just awful. But yeah. And Reagan is on the wall everywhere, which was,
yeah, he was even in the movie clip that they were watching because he used to be an actor. But they have a photo of Reagan in one of the government buildings. I don't remember where. It's I guess it's common for the president to be up, but it's one of those things that I always look back on and just like, oh God, I can't remember the time when it was President Reagan. It was different, and of course that inspired the whole Star Wars thing for why they do the laser thing later on, because his laser defense grid was a big pet project apparently, and it didn't ever happen, and it certainly wouldn't have been a drive-in theater like that. But that's beside the point. The beginning of the
movie
movie,
you want to buy an abandoned drive-in theater in the middle of the desert, by the way.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because
and then just show this movie like over and over again, basically.
No. I want to make it like my secret headquarters, so nobody knows I'm there. And then people drive by and be like, "What? Why is there a person here?" I'll just offer them a random Pepsi.
Yeah.
And then you can stay
care for
there
a Pepsi?
when you're invited to LA, and
Yes,
not show up, and just be, in your secret underground lair.
Yep, that's exactly what I'll do. I'll spy on you guys by activating all of the security cameras in the room you're in, and I'll just spy on you.
Yeah, one thing about that test taking scene when he turns on all the video cameras, it's just like there's this very loud sound of these flaps opening up and cameras are positioned throughout the room. It's just like, why would you have those? Like the intricate system to deploy them? Wouldn't they just be cameras that are hidden and on the entire time? And when they go and they cut to the footage of what had been recorded when they get caught cheating on the test, and they're talking to Keyes and whatever his name is, the ZIA guys, that it's obviously a cameraman who's shooting the scene of Chevy Chase walking around, because it's tracking with his movements, and it's one of those things where it's just like, in dream sequences or any other kind of security footage where it's just like, can you at least just like lock off the camera so I could believe that it's somewhere, that it's not just some camera operator who's walking around on set? But they didn't. And I still find that scene funny, but then after this we get the very unfunny training stuff, which I don't care for at all. Colonel Rhombus could have been interesting, I guess, if it had been a more condensed and focused performance, because he's just sort of a jerk, and that's it. And they're incompetent, and the course makes no sense, and things explode. And it just goes on for a very long time, and it could have really been shaved down to the bare essentials here, because it's dull and unfunny.
But there's ninjas.
That didn't make any sense.
Are we just gonna not mention the fart? Because that to me was hilarious. Can we just glossed over that, and I think it deserves
Is that
a
a
mention.
pivotal plot point for you?
No, it's just because there's a third. It's like a 3-act joke there, right? Because like he farts, right? Everybody turns around, right? So Aykroyd looks at Chevy Chase, and then there's that genius third act of it, right? When Chevy Chase turns to the guy next to him, he just says, "Excuse me," because he just He's basically been chosen as the guy that farted, and I just find that funny. Like when I watched it, I laughed out loud. Not at the fart, right, but just at the sort of how that joke is structured, because it takes a long time before Chevy Chase actually turns to him and kind of, implicates him in the, the passing of the gas or whatever. But I don't know, that just made me laugh. I didn't want to, just go past that because it's a funny scene to me. But yeah.
Yeah, it's his jerky desk mate who was studying when he was watching the movie, I think. And it's good. Yeah, it's a fun little joke. And that scene, that is good. There's some other subtle stuff there. Like, again, talking about how ridiculous it was to have the giant mechanized flaps with the 2 feet long cameras in the roof. But I love that Frank Oz like reaches under the table to discreetly push a button to open those flaps. It's like, well, you should just you should have that button on your desk. There's no reason to hide that.
And the flailing is kind of awesome when he just starts picking up other people's tests. It's kind of, that whole scene is...
He's doing his Chevy Chase thing. He's flopping around. He's grabbing people. Yeah. He's falling down. He very quickly abandons the arm in the sling thing, too, which is pretty great, that he just pulls his other arm out from behind him. And it's like, well, although as soon as you see him coming in, you're like, well, okay, that's clearly a fake arm, and he's got an eye patch on because there's something hidden in there. But then at least they do some other stuff in that scene.
Oh, and I love his excuse for being late. Like, I was at the reading of a will, had to stay to the end to find out I didn't get anything, which I don't know why, but that's funny to me. Sorry. We can skip the training because we just spent way too much time on this. But
yeah, they jump in a hole full of muck, and then they shoot a machine gun at him and stuff, and then obstacles, and then put him in a fake airplane and drop him off a thing. And
that wasn't a fake airplane. That looked like the body of an intruder. That's an actual airplane.
Okay, I mean, it didn't have wings, I should say. They just pushed it off a ledge.
A non-operational airplane.
Yeah,
sure.
But how stupid is that? So what? They fix the plane for every other pair of trainees. Because that thing really smashes, right?
I'm sorry. Did you just look for logic in that test?
No, but I'm just...
They were exploding things in here. None of this makes any sense. Firing live ammo. It's just supposed to look like they're being tortured through this process, and it serves no real purpose. It's supposed to, test the reaction to a crash or something, but it doesn't... why? Why would you do that?
There's a better machine for doing that in what's the Richard Gere movie when he carries the woman out from the factory with Louis Gossett Jr. as the drill sergeant. What's that movie? Oh, I don't know the title.
I don't know either.
Oh, some gentleman something.
Yeah, are you thinking of Officer and a Gentleman?
Yes,
the serious movie?
You. Yes.
Yes, this movie is just like Officer and a Gentleman.
No, absolutely. They got no place else to go. So
no, there's a machine in that movie where they actually do test a crash into water if you're in a plane, because they're all training to be jet pilots. I was really into airplanes when I was a kid, so I just picked up on all that stuff. And you sit in this orange thing. Richard Gere sits in it, and it's on the edge of a pool, and it drops and kind of it goes into the water, and you kind of have to swim out and stuff. So there's actual machines for testing that, not just a fake plane that they drop into the ground. Which it's a little nitpicky, but like I said, I was really into planes when I was a kid. So an officer.
I'm not sure that movie is really documentary status in terms of the testing equipment as well, but it's good to know. So does that mean with the van that we send you, should we get somebody to airbrush it to look like a fighter jet before we send it to you?
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
Should we test how well you can survive a van crash and put it on the edge of a pool and then drop it in?
Yeah, well, but it needs to be, it's not supposed to be as wasteful as the airplane in Spies Like Us, right? It should be on a rig that kind of can, deploy the van into the water, but then bring it back up so it can be reused.
Well, if it was like that, it wouldn't have any wheels on the bottom. It would just be a completely flat surface, and then we just slide down and then back up again.
Like the shipping container with chairs when they land in the desert.
Yeah, basically. Oh, we're just moving. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're in the desert now.
Yep. And so they get captured for the first of many times. And there's a misunderstanding, and, you can have my friend's head, etc. And they get out of there because there's 2 American guys who they take to be their contacts who show up. And they're very American in a disturbing way.
That was a nice touch. That was a nice touch. Just, if you read about America and had to explain to somebody, how does an American man look in the 50s, that would be
the whitest, waspiest looking guys you could possibly imagine from Animal House?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, which is, like sort of Van Wilder or whatever, like if that was a documentary.
And now we have the name of your van, Van Wilder.
Oh,
Thank you. I worked really hard on that.
that was good. Yeah.
Remember those words you just said? That was a pun. Anyway.
So wait, if you had a van though, then we'd have Van Wilder for Anjay, and then we'd have Van Sturm for you, and then we need to come up with a name for my van though.
Van
it would just be Van Steel, wouldn't it? It's a pretty great name, even though it doesn't really do the pun thing, but it's a pretty great name for a van.
Yeah,
Van Steel.
What a pun!
Yeah.
Why don't I get to have a pun?
I don't know.
Okay, well, we'll
we're
workshop
gonna
it.
try and figure it. Yeah.
Okay, you guys keep talking about the movie, and I'll workshop puns over here for Joe's van.
Thank you.
No,
And so
I'm crappy. I'm crappy at puns in English. Like I'm better at it in Slovene, but yeah, in English it's hard because I need to translate stuff. That's why I lose to Scrabble to my girlfriend all the time. I'm just crap like that. Okay, anyway.
So in Slovene, is there the concept of the dad joke?
Yes, just corny stuff, right? Like,
Yeah. Corny stuff, but it is associated typically with older dads who make dumb jokes.
But I don't think there's a word for. Maybe there's a word for it, but I don't know. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's. I think that's pretty like a universal human thing. We are human over here, Joe. Just so you know.
Thanks for clearing that up. I'll let our president know. And so we have them go on the Jeep, which is not a van, and he notices the time on the watch and the little Cyrillic writing underneath, and so maybe that's not an American watch so much. And he says he needs to go to the bathroom. They pull over. Dan Aykroyd gets out. He talks to Chevy Chase. He's like, "Don't you need to go to the bathroom?" And he says, "You're not my mom." And there's a little back and forth about that until they eventually decide that they both need to go to the bathroom. And they walk away from the van, and we see them in the van. And as the camera tracks with them, then the guys are in front of them again.
Okay. By the way, I think we're going to get you a Jeep. We're going to call it Jeep Steel. Does that work? It's close.
That's good. So we got 2 vans and a Jeep.
Yes, two vans and a Jeep. Two vans and a Jeep walk into a bar in Russia. Oh, hey, I don't have an end for this, Jeff. We'll keep working on it.
Oh, we should get you a Lada Niva. Oh, just Google a Lada Niva. Just the way it sounds.
Can you spell that?
Oh, God, spelling. Okay, so it's Lada. It's Lada. And then Niva.
Yeah, there it is.
Sort of,
ooh,
that is
I want one of these.
Yeah, that is the sort of like when I was a kid, that was the only Jeep I knew.
Nice.
That was the only Jeep
although it's hard to tell
see.
how big it is. Is this like Volkswagen Bug sized, or is this like an actual legitimate sized Jeep?
Oh no, it's this is Europe. We don't make trucks and call them cars over here. It's smaller. Smaller, but yeah, like that. The 80s version was great.
It looks like an AMC Gremlin, but slightly taller.
Yeah, it's sort of like a Suzuki Vitara, but uglier and with like way more steel. That's why I thought of Joe, because it was a very heavy car, and yeah. But honestly, that was. No, I'm calling you Steel, but yeah.
So your spy name is going to be Joe Lada Niva.
Because Lada's the company. I don't know if they're maybe they're like Slovakia or something, or maybe they're actually just. I don't think they're Russian, but yeah, it's just that was like I saw like that was the one Jeep I saw when I was like until I was like 10 probably. Then I saw others, but yeah, honestly, that was the the Jeep. If you said to a kid in like the 80s over here like draw a Jeep, they draw that.
Wow,
definitely draw that. Yeah,
the Wikipedia page for the Lada Niva is amazing. There's some several different body designs and interesting paint jobs on them, as well as the progress of what it looked like through the years, including the Chevrolet Niva. Yeah, that looks like a horrible rental car to get. So, wow.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
So we'll go with the Jeep. And
oh yeah, just one more thing. The Niva, because I see I'm on the Wikipedia page also. It says though it's the Russian word for crop field, right? And it's the same in Slovene. Niva is a field, like a crop field is the same in Slovene. It's the same word. Slavs, yeah. So you see, it was inspired by the Suzuki Vitara, like I said, and that, I did not know that before I checked the Wikipedia page. So yeah, great little Jeep. Anyway,
We're learning so much today.
So they get caught by the guys who do the cartoonish "we're in front of you" thing, which it doesn't make any particular sense why they needed to do that gag. And he says something to him in Russian. They laugh and then realize that they laughed, and then there's more laughing, and then they go for the shoes and they put the hats on, Three Stooges style. Go back to the car without knocking them out or taking their guns, then get shot at as they make off out of there. And they've got a little bit of gas, and so they're going to take turns. They get stopped at a checkpoint. They are surrounded by other angry people, and this is where Chevy Chase wakes up Dan Aykroyd and says, "Your turn to drive." So, ha 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 ha. And this is odd because Dan Aykroyd recognizes them as Afghani freedom fighters who the U.S. is supporting at the time, and they are not, and they capture them and take them to the camp. And this is where they're identified by one of the American Red Cross people who are inside the same encampment, and they're cut down and then brought into the tent because they're assumed to be the doctors who were coming in to assist them. And then you get the fabulous doctor scene where they just introduce themselves to one another, and it's doctor, 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 doctor. And in the scene, you have Ray Harryhausen, you have Terry Gilliam, you have a couple other cameos from I think the one guy was from like a UK effects job or something like that. Just throw away little moments, and they have the introduction. They all leave except for Dan Aykroyd, who says, "We're not doctors." Punchline. And he says, we got to pretend to be doctors so that he can. Chevy Chase wants to get in with Dr. Boyer, who's played by Donna Dixon. And Dan Aykroyd leaves, Donna Dixon comes back in, and they have a conversation about how much she's respected him, and the whole first name gag, and read all your papers, my papers, and you mean my medical papers, etc. And then it's like, oh, well, I can't perform the operation you want me to do because I have severe nerve damage in my hand. And then he does something really awful and just sticks his hand on her chest, and then sticks his other hand on her chest, because that was the high point of Chevy Chase comedy at the time. That and
tripping on a bunch of stuff as he walked around the post in the tent. Yeah, that's
Chevy Chase is nothing but pratfalls and misogyny, and so what makes it really weird though is that it's Dan Aykroyd's wife that he's feeling up. But whatever,
it's all for comedy. It's for comedy, so it's okay.
Yeah, and it's not funny comedy, but whatever. And she agrees to do the operation, but he'll have Dan Aykroyd perform because Dan Aykroyd is good with his hands. Dan Aykroyd is, of course, good with electronics, not with operations. So this doesn't go very well. And they are...
This doesn't go very well, yeah.
No.
Okay.
He's got a scalpel and he's going to operate, and then he keeps moving his hand over and over, and there's the looking back and forth, and doctors nodding and shaking their heads about where they're going to do the incision, and then
that's about the only funny part I think in this is when he looks up at them and they're shaking their heads no, and then he moves his hand and they shake their heads yes, and it's like, okay, I'm going to start to cut here. And then of course the because they're operating on an inflamed appendix, it explodes and the guy dies. Yeah. And he wakes up and sort of makes a gasping noise to let you know that he died, even though he was under anesthesia.
Yes. Which is totally how that works. And they quietly exit the tent, whistling, and walk past all of the people, and the camera tracks with them as they try to walk further and further away. And then the guy comes out and shouts at the soldiers who were there to go get them. A big chase ensues. A big, long, pointlessly long chase ensues.
Like they said, if dying in a tent is disgraceful, dying in battle is honorable. So don't let these guys die in here, or we'll kill you and stuff. So then horseback chases and guns and stuff.
Yeah, that scene just goes on forever, and it doesn't really have any real tension because the bad guys even seem. Oh well, the guys even seem super bumbling, and they mostly defeat themselves as they're trying to get into the ambulance. Like the one guy on top who gets knocked out by the tree branch that is in front of him. It's just like, oh God, you guys. And then they ride up next to it and don't shoot and just kind of flail with the rubber blades that they have. It's really not a well-directed or executed sequence of events, and it's got some dramatic music, and that's it. They get out of there, they take the ambulance to a place where they sell it, and they get that exchanged for bus fare and clothes so that they can get through the Russian checkpoint and also make a collect call. The collect call is important because they tell the operator, the AT&T operator, who tells the defense operator, who tells them that they're secret agents who need to get in touch with their bosses, which does not please the DIA chiefs. But they are surprised that they managed to get that far at all.
Yeah, it's funny because they're spies and they're not supposed to tell people they're spies, but they tell the operator that they're spies.
Yes. And this is after the guys had gotten into the secret base, which was guarded by, I think it was Ethan Coen or Joel Coen and Sam Raimi, who were the guards at the checkpoint. And then they go inside and they have the other guys who's like, won't you gentlemen like to have a Pepsi? And then they go inside and get the Pepsi and then go down the elevator. It's needlessly pointless drama. And they arrive at the command center that's underground with General Happy Wartime, and they look at all the Cold War era dramatic console stuff on the operation. And they talk about how their other guys are progressing along as expected and that the decoys are working well because the main mission hasn't been interfered with. The next thing is that they go through the process of running into Dr. Boyer again at the toll checkpoint where the bus had stopped. They see them drive up in a Land Rover and then change over to horses and get out of there. And he's not very... Chevy Chase approaches Boyer and she's not very nice to him. And that's surprising because he's such an affable, charming man that I don't know why anyone would react negatively to Chevy Chase.
Yeah, this is the part of the movie where it's just like, all right, I guess we gotta go to Russia and stuff, and there's got to be stuff in how they get there. And
there's a lot of like plot mechanics with this. It's like, we know we want to go to this place so that we can do this other thing. So
that place that we saw in the opening shot of the movie with the missile and stuff, we got to get there at some point, but it's got to be funny. So roosters in a bus and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's an American school bus, just made to look like a, Afghanistan bus or whatever, or like Kazakhstan bus. Or where are they exactly?
They said Pakistan.
Yeah, because it's Pashto, right? Yeah, okay, yeah, so it's Pakistan, yeah. I don't know, it's just weird because you just see another thing we don't have over here, the American school bus. I don't know what that company is, but we don't have those over here. So, I always notice those as well. So
do you want a school bus?
No. I prefer the van. I think the van is way better.
Okay.
Than the school bus. Yeah.
I saw
the school bus honestly doesn't look very safe. Let's say for children. I don't know. They just look like big boxes on wheels, which is we have nicer buses over here. Honestly.
They are not good. As someone who had ridden in, who was a passenger in them on their way to school for a long time, they didn't even have seatbelts. They would just be these, they were just sort of these vinyl benches where you could sit 2 to 3 kids in each of the benches up and down the rows, and they eventually added seatbelts much later.
When did they add seatbelts? Ours never had seatbelts.
I can't remember. I think it was like towards the end of the 90s. They were just like, you know what? People might die. So maybe we'll put in seatbelts, which is, a brand new technology.
But, you both actually rode like the sort of yellow American school bus to school.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, nice. Okay. Nice.
It's not really like a shocking surprise for the most part.
Oh, yeah, I don't like. I don't know how. Like, I just feel, maybe it was one of those things that's always in the movies, but it's not actually really widespread or something. But yeah, all right.
Where else do you think we got our poor social skills and our low self-esteem from being told we can't sit with other people on the bus?
Was that like a pecking order? Or,
absolutely. All the jerky kids make the other kids feel unwelcome and things. It's just sort of that comes with the bus.
Yeah, and so your goal was to try to get on there and get a seat, and hopefully no one would sit next to you, because that way you would have no chance of being judged by anyone. But at the same time, sitting by yourself was bad because it indicated that you didn't have any friends on the bus. And so you would also get made fun of for that. So there was really no good way to win at this other than to be at the top of the pecking order.
I think my strategy was more get a window seat and stare out the window as long as I could and hope nobody talked to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. You're making yourself like you're in a detention center. Like, somebody going to shoot you?
There. You can't do anything. If I recall, like, the thing people used to do is, like, they would sit in the seat with you and squish you up against the wall, like, against the window for fun.
What school would you go like this?
I think when you said detention center, you pretty much summed it up. American school system is...
Yeah, I mean, around here, they just paint the buses white and use them to transport prisoners when they're doing, like, yard work and stuff.
Yeah, that also happens with... I think they're the retired school buses that they move out of service. And sometimes... I also saw a pop-up shop that was inside of an old school bus that was painted white over by the platform in Culver City. They had just parked it there and had a power generator thing in the back of it, and you'd crouch to get inside the emergency exit in the back of the bus and crouch through the whole entire bus because it's not tall enough for a normal human being to stand. I didn't understand why they did that exactly. It seemed like one of those things where somebody's like, I have a really cool hipster idea and it's going to be a school bus and everyone's going to love it. And it's like, first of all, nobody really loves school buses. Second of all, nobody can stand inside your shop. So I don't know what you're even contemplating this for. But
well, you've seen the people who turn school buses into tiny homes, right? Like they take all the chairs out and they put a bed in the back and block out some windows and convert it into like their home that they park in somebody's dirt lot.
Yeah, and also you got Burning Man, where people convert those, because that's fun. Party bus, right?
Oh yeah, there's a thing called Burning Van. If you saw the first episode of the Grand Tour, the Top Gear Not Top Gear show on Amazon, like they have this thing where they drive in the desert in California, and it's called Burning Van. Since we're doing a van-themed podcast this time.
I did watch that episode. I don't remember the van thing.
Yeah, it's in the intro sequence when they're driving with the Mustangs. So yeah.
I was going to say Burning Van would be our convention where we all bring our vans and or Jeeps out into the middle of nowhere and hang out and talk about Russian Cold War movies.
Yeah, and the Lada Niva.
Yeah, we'll
by
drive
the way,
all of our vans to the abandoned movie theater that I have converted into a hangout spot or whatever, and we'll call it Burning Van.
Yeah, and just so you know, the Lada Niva is still in production.
Oh my god!
And a notable owner of it is Vladimir Putin. So you know.
Well, don't say anything bad about the Lada Niva when you're in Moscow.
Don't say anything bad about it now, because he's got to go to Russia later.
Yeah, well, and Putin is a friend of the U.S. now, so, you know, that's a thing.
I don't think the enemy of my enemy is my friend thing is really a thing.
Well, I don't know. You guys are kind of cozy now, so, you know, we'll see. Yeah.
Not that we're about as cozy as Joe being hugged by a stranger.
Well, you know, let's just say the top echelons are cozier, let's say.
Top echelons.
Okay.
Let's talk about terrible movies
Russia.
Behavior.
They get inside of the border by climbing the thing because it's cold, and they're wearing their ridiculous fur pelt things.
Which are great.
Yeah, just seem to be covered yak fur, and they
oh no, that's a thing. We have we don't have Halloween, but we do have a thing called, I think it's called masquerade, because I've talked about this on Clockwise once, but we have this thing in part of Slovenia where people dress in a thing. It's called a kurent. It looks like that the thing that Aykroyd and Chase wear, but it also has a really creepy mask, and it has bells around the belt, and people just shake it, and that's supposed to sort of scare winter away, because our festival is at the end of winter. So if you want to Google that, I'll just wait. I need to spell it out. So it's Kurent. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're gonna see. Just put that into Google. So Kurent.
Wow.
Do you have to raise and shave your own yak, or can you buy one of these things?
No, you can buy one of these things, and it is terrifying. It's great. It's like this whole festival. My mom goes there every year. Honestly, I've never been, but yeah, it's in Ptuj, which is in the north. So that's northeast of the country. Yeah. Well, it's the whole country, but that's where it originated. And the white ones are okay. You should see the black one. It's it's awesome. It genuinely looks just terrifying.
I see.
It is great.
Yeah, it's sort of like some sort of horned bear yeti monster thing.
Is this what that guy was wearing on the last episode of Westworld?
I have not seen that. I'll tell you. I
think there's a guy wearing one of these in Westworld.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look out for that. But yeah, this is it's a big thing. You can check. There's probably stuff on YouTube when they shake the bells. It's insane. It is insane. It's really loud because they have cowbells around the belt. It is genuinely just terrifying and insane.
This is one of those things where I'm just trying to come up in my mind with how this started exactly. Because there had to be one person who was like, "Hey, I have an idea," and then it happened. Because otherwise, how would this? It's not like they were wearing this most of the time, and they're like, "Hey, let's just put a fun mask on." It must have been somebody's idea that they came up with this thing, and I can't understand how that occurred.
Oh my god! Have you seen the Wikipedia page? There's a black and white photo of the first one that they did, and people are just sort of wearing flowing robes and the creepiest masks I've ever seen.
There's an English Wikipedia page. Are you serious?
Yeah. It's
current Ovanje?
Yeah, Kurentovanje. That's the fest. What? I had no idea.
Oh my god, this picture is so creepy. 1961 is when it is one of the first ones. It says here.
Yeah,
that photo is terrifying.
Yep, it's awesome. It's a thing to see in person. It is, because they do come to Ljubljana as well. So I've seen them here, but I've never been to Ptuj, where it's where the biggest one is.
They look pretty well padded in these suits. Do they wrestle or anything? Do they do a
No. It's just, you just wear it and sweat probably. Just
ugh.
Yeah.
You know how we just like to sweat and stuff.
Get used them for the Arizona climate.
Yeah, I'll wear that to help dampen the sound in my little recording area here.
You can make a little podcasting tent out of currents.
Yeah, they're awesome. They really are awesome. Yeah. Did you see the bells, the cowbells? The biggest cowbells you can find, probably. Yeah.
Those bells are the size of a human head.
Yep. And they wear that the whole day and just shake.
Oh my god!
It's genuinely terrifying. Yeah, but it's supposed to scare winter and bring in spring and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yep.
The 60s were a fun time. So
am I seeing this correctly that they do this in Cleveland as well?
Yep, because there's a bunch of Slovenians in Cleveland. So
Ohio's
Cleveland
the worst.
is basically that's where most of I won't say most, but the biggest sort of outside of Slovenia, Slovene sort of people are basically.
Well,
yeah.
Our Slovakian relatives were slightly south of Cleveland and Akron.
Yeah, no, Cleveland's well, we see stuff on the news where they still have Slovene schools and churches and stuff. But yeah, Cleveland. Yeah, that and LeBron James basically. So
maybe they should change the logo of the local baseball team to one of these things.
Oh yeah, because they're still the Indians, right? Oh, that's awesome.
No, it's really not. But
Cleveland Currents, and then they can all wear these big fluffy suits when they try and play baseball.
Yep. Well, it's better than the Indians, right? Because that's just awful.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
think Washington is there. We're mentioning this again. We mentioned this in the last podcast.
I'm trying
Washington, whatever the team is called.
I was trying desperately to steer us away.
I'm trying so hard to steer, but this van isn't going anywhere.
Your Jeep doesn't have power steering.
The Cleveland Currents. But yeah, that work. That would actually work.
Speaking of steering and roads, we have the road that they finally get to in the mountains, and they're caught by the highway patrol. And they are Dana Aykroyd jumps off to the side, and Chevy Chase is captured, and he's taken back to their highway patrol shed, for lack of a better term. And the two American guys from earlier show up, only this time they have thick Russian accents, because that doesn't make any sense. And
or in as much as Americans can fake a Russian accent.
Yeah, it's one of those things too, where it's just like, how would their American accent, if they're talking to an American, why would they put on an accent that they didn't have before? It doesn't make any particular sense.
No, that makes perfect sense, because they're not trying. You see, because I could pronounce the whole American R, right, and talk more like this. And then it sounds kind of better,
perfect.
Right? Yeah, it's not American, right? But like I can try with the R's and stuff, right?
Say in your American accent, "Can I have sour cream on my burrito?"
What? Can I? I'm sorry. Can I have sour cream on my burrito? Yeah, well, I know that's not American, but it's better than whatever the hell I'm talking now, right? When I don't care with the R's, right? So I perfectly understand those two guys.
Oh, I want that to be my ringtone.
Look, it's like when you want to sound American, you just do the R, right? You don't do the Slavic R, right? You do the R, right? So I totally understand that.
Oh, never mind the rest of the movie. Let's just do more American accent stuff. It's pretty good.
Yeah, no, because I used to really try and sort of, when I was in, if I was in the UK or whatever, I'd really try and speak proper English.
Oh, did you try and do a British accent when you were in the UK?
No, I do it like this. It sounds Scottish. Like Urshad makes fun of me the whole time, because I try like they sort of sing a little with the Scottish, but I don't notice it anymore. Like it just comes out sometimes. She laughs at me. But yeah, and the same with American. But at some point, I just figured, I'm from Slovenia. Just don't bother.
Yeah.
And I talk like this now. Yeah.
So say hello, Governor.
Can you not? I think I mentioned this on Twitter. I don't know if you were in that thread, but Casey Liz, just kept saying that to Mike, right?
Yes.
And he wrote it out on Twitter, right? And he wrote it out, and I'll try and spell it. Wait, just give me a sec. So he wrote it out, and he said like GOVNA, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that don't say that, dude, because that in Serbian and Croatian is actually it's animal excrement. That is the word and the spelling.
Huh. What are the odds?
Yeah.
So, sorry, where is that
like,
animal excrement? So I know not to say that there.
It's Serbo-Croatian, basically. Maybe some other Slavic languages, right? But it's sort of the plural of it. So govno is like, I can't believe I'm saying that. So govno is basically like crap, and then govna is the plural of that. So I just kept seeing Casey on Twitter saying to Mike, right, hello, the plural of crap, basically, which still cracks me up. But yeah.
Every time you're on this show, it's so educational. There is so much useful information coming out of this.
I know, yeah. It's an educational program. I try, to sort of like Wikipedia, but for Eastern Europe. But yeah, it's just it's so funny to me, because it happens from time to time when you have those, when it's a word and that means something over here, and you guys are just oblivious to it. Like I think didn't we talk about it? I'm sure I talked about it with you guys, but I'm speaking of cars and Jeeps. There's a Ford Jeep over here. It's probably in America as well, called Kuga, Kuga.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. We don't have it in America.
Okay, so that, and this is not, I swear this is not a joke. You can Google it if you want, right? So, kuga in Slovene is the plague. So there's an actual car being sold here called the Fourth Plague.
Nice.
Which is hilarious.
It looks a lot like a Ford Escape. It's maybe a little bit smaller.
Yeah, maybe it's the same car. It's a pretty good car, honestly, but it's called the Plague. And they just didn't bother changing it. And I think kuga is I think that's not just Slovene. I think there's a couple other, places.
I mean, it's also not a word in English, so I don't know why they would have picked that.
Yeah, but it's kind of insane when you think about it. Because it's it's an actual car called the Plague. So,
what's insane is a plan to fire a nuclear missile at your own country to test a laser defense system just to make sure it works.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which is the plot of this movie. We think this whole time they're sneaking around to deactivate this ICBM that's hidden in the forest somewhere, protected by 5 Russian people who just like to drink and dance around a fire. But it turns out the orders are to fire it, and they're going to test their fancy drive-in movie theater laser system, but they miss. Which I think they missed not on purpose, but they were prepared for the contingency of not blowing it up, so then they could start World War III and then use all of the missiles that they've been stockpiling. Because it's like spring cleaning or something. They wanted to get rid of all of the missiles.
It's a weird plan B. It's a
Plan A, we have a new
drop-off.
laser defense system. Plan B, World War III, and then we use all the bombs that we got. It's great.
Yeah. This is one of those things where while you're watching the film up to this point, you don't actually know what their mission is, and neither does anyone other, not even Don Dixon's character.
It's a need-to-know basis, Joe.
Yeah, they have no idea why they're going to go to this missile and enter the stuff, but they get there, they enter the stuff, and then it fires. And then everybody's just like, well, why did we do that?
They're going to enter stuff. They're reading it off. He's like, go stand by missile. And then they walk over. Okay, cool. Open flap. All right, we can do that.
Yeah, and they're like, see, easy, right? And then they punch in the code to launch it, which doesn't seem that complicated. It fires and goes off into the atmosphere, and then they didn't really expect that to happen, I guess. I don't know what they, with the characters in the film, were expecting to happen, because if it was a code to deactivate it or explode, wouldn't they want to know what the code was going to do once they had entered it? But it doesn't seem that they didn't raise any questions about the order that they were getting from the guys. They just read off the weird ticker tape thing and then did the stuff.
Well, they've been steadfast in just strictly following orders this entire movie, so why would they question it?
Yes.
We skipped the alien scene, which is
more
the
currents.
alien scene is kind of okay. And there's a detail in there where Aykroyd is translating, and the woman, she's from Latvia, which I found kind of great, because that was sort of the Soviet Union. Sort of, I guess you moved around if you were in the army, because that was the same in Yugoslavia. So if you went to the old army in Yugoslavia, you got sent to Serbia or Croatia or Bosnia or whatever, and people from there got sent here to sort of, almost like a cultural exchange. I just found that great.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well,
it's good to have your Russian perspective here. That's why we brought you.
Yeah, I'm here for the stuff like that. Yeah, and the alien stuff. I don't know. I don't know. That's funny to me. I don't know why. Where they pretend to die and stuff. I don't know. I just find that funny.
Well, they had very nice glowy outfits on.
Yeah,
And more pratfalls.
it's like a Current 2.0 basically. So, with the lights. That was a terrible joke.
It's like a current rave.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and we glossed over the, Lisa Angel in underwear. So
Yeah.
that's her name, right? Yeah.
Wasn't really much of a reason for that to be in the film, to be perfectly honest.
Were we supposed to have been familiar with who she is?
Isn't she from Weird Science? Isn't she the woman from Weird Science?
Yeah.
Is she not?
She's a model.
Oh, okay.
And
sure.
actress.
I don't think I've seen Weird
Vanessa
Science.
Angel.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Vanessa. I thought it was Lisa. Okay, yeah, Vanessa Angel. Yeah, okay.
Yep.
So she's in this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's in lots of stuff. Not a lot of really noteworthy things recently, but she was in things before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now they neutralize them by shooting with the darts. They enter the code thing. They launch the missiles. This wakes up the guys. They're all like, "Why did you do that?" And they're like, "We want to know that. We don't know why we did that either." They don't contact the base at all at this point to ask why they launched it. And then the base fires the laser thing, and then it misses. And then they have the conversation about how their plan B is to just let it hit and then fire back at Russia and destroy everything on Earth. And that the place that they're in is perfectly insulated for this contingency, and they'll be fine. Because they don't want to sort of fess up to the fact that they fired a missile at the continental United States. And from the weird map that they have, it kind of looks like it's going for New York and Long Island. It's not, I mean, they don't say it, but it kind of looks like that's what that painting was supposed to be. As far as the globe is concerned, it's just like sort of this blue mist thing. So it doesn't really look like Earth. It just looks like Uranus or something. It's or Neptune. It's peculiar. I don't know why they chose to go that route, but there's 5,000 shots of this missile being fired. And then back at the camp, they decide that since the world's going to end in 40-something minutes, that they're just all going to pair off and have sex.
It's 28 minutes, by the way.
Yeah. And so they decide to very quickly have sex.
And the sun comes up, by the way.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's also when they cut back to...
They say it's like 4:30 in the morning when they right? So how would the sun have even come up at that point?
Yeah, but they're really, like, they're way up north, right? Or no?
The sun rises in the east anyway.
They're not, because it's, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, that is true. Yeah, we're just poking holes into the whole thing.
Yeah, no, but like I do appreciate when they cut back to Dan Aykroyd in the tent with what's-her-name. He says, "I can't believe it's been 15 minutes since I fired a missile that will end the world, and in 15 more minutes the world's going to end." And then he says something stupid that reminds him that the missile can be controlled because it has guidance. Something
guidance. Yeah.
Guidance counselor.
I did like when I did like when they paired off though. That they had one of the soldiers and the older Russian lady pair off, and they had the Chevy Chase went off with Dr. Boyer. Well, who was supposedly Dr. Boyer, Donna Dixon's character, and then that left Dan Aykroyd and Vanessa Angel and the two other guys, and so the two other guys paired off and left, which I thought was kind of a funny touch for the 1980s film. But after they all have their moment and they regroup, they start doing a nonsensical plan of using an antenna to recall the thing with the code backwards and smash the thing so they can get a part. It seems like a bad idea to smash the thing to get the part because you might smash the part that you need, but it doesn't stop them from doing that. Bring it to me, and he starts to walk over with the rock, not the rock, the other thing. And
that was funny. That was funny, not the rock. I laughed at that.
Yeah,
just for the record. Yeah,
Chevy Chase is a doofus.
Thank you. I'm keeping track.
And they avert disaster by reprogramming it, and it explodes. And then everybody's just like, "Oh well, too bad. We don't know what to do now."
I like the way that they reprogrammed it is they just like changed its coordinates, but it's like it's on a timer, so it's going to blow up in like 3 minutes anyway. We just need to put it somewhere else. Like I'm pretty sure if you can change the direction, you might be able to just like turn it off. But what do I know?
Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense, but it explodes, and then they have the base, the underground base. It explodes, and they are assaulted by the army, attacking the army, and who got there awfully fast, I have to say, because I don't know how they would have figured out any of that and infiltrated and captured them. But it happened.
Well, somebody was probably driving by and saw a bunch of drive-in movie theater screens flip upside down and turned into reflectors that bounced a giant laser beam into space. And they're like, well, that seems to be concerning. Maybe we should call that in.
Yeah.
That's a good point, honestly. Yeah, I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, because that's a pretty big light show, not to report it. So yeah. No,
Somebody
that's
probably
actually
called to
no,
complain that the fireworks show only had like one blast and it might be broken or something.
I mean,
yeah, no, but that's a genuine explanation to that. Like that's a like how did they get it? Because I was thinking that, like, who called them? And it's like, yeah, somebody reported the giant laser firing, and they showed up. Which yeah, that makes sense. That is not a plot hole.
Nobody called them, but Frank Oz pushed a button and then some cameras popped out of the walls and they were watching them as they sent the order to fire the missile.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. They play Trivial Pursuit at the end of the movie, and they lose some missiles, and they knock it off the board.
Mm.
The end.
I like Trivial Pursuit, man. I haven't played Trivial Pursuit in probably 15 years.
I have never played Trivial Pursuit.
Oh, you get these little plastic pie things, and I forget, you like move around a board or something, but you ask questions about different categories and things.
Yeah, the Incomparable Network has the game show, and one of the sub-shows on that is them playing Trivial Pursuit, but like the old 1980s original version of it.
Yeah, that was a thing. You got to keep the old version around because they kept updating it and making it worse. So the parents would always keep the super old version in the closet somewhere.
Yeah, well, and it wasn't... What makes it weird now is like a lot of the things that they have on there are not really like the answers that you would consider for a modern era, especially for things like sports or whatever, or leisure. But they exist. So I would recommend if you want to relive some Trivial Pursuit moments, you can go and listen to them all fumble through that.
Oh, okay, nice.
I just want to play it. I don't want to listen to people play it.
Oh, well, maybe you can ask very nicely if you can play it, and then maybe they'll put you on another one if they do it again.
Sounds like a lot of effort.
Wow.
Yeah. Coming to LA, that's also a lot of effort.
For the love of
yeah. Just
once I have my van, I will be more mobile. I'll set up my editing station in the back so I can edit on the road.
like I drove from San Francisco to LA, to meet people, and you couldn't come from Phoenix. So, and I was at the Grand Canyon, which is not that far from you.
It's another 5 hours in a different direction.
Yeah, nobody told me it was that big. Nobody.
The name
I was not
really
ready for that.
You'd never seen a photo of it?
No, not the Grand Canyon. Just
the
distance between things.
Yeah.
No, but not. I was prepared for the distances. I was not prepared for it not really being populated.
Oh, yeah.
Like, nobody properly explained that to me. Like, the people did mention it, but I just figured, okay, there's, certain stretches where you just won't see a living soul, right? But you can drive for like an hour and just see nothing. And I was not really, like, nobody... The drive from LA to Vegas at, 2:00 in the morning is maybe one of the scariest things I've done in my life. So... because I was falling asleep the whole time, so Ursha had to yell at me for half the journey. Yeah, it was fun.
You don't want to break down out there because you'll just get eaten by a coyote or something.
Oh yeah, we turned off at we just turned off the highway because I needed to pee basically because there was no gas stations for an hour and I was dying. So we just turned off, and you basically, when you go off the highway in the middle of it, right, just go into darkness. It was just weird because there was just nothing there, and the GPS showed the road, right? But there's just the weirdest experience ever at traveling for 24 hours, not really getting much sleep on a plane because I'm too tall to sit normally, and it was just the scariest experience of my life. So yeah, fun times in America. In a Toyota RAV4, which was nice. We got a good rental car.
Oh my God, you were in a RAV4? That's like the smallest. Why did you? You didn't run around a van? We chose
a RAV4 basically. Well, we chose like a small SUV, you'd call it, which is over here. It's a large Jeep, basically. But yeah, we got like a brand new RAV4. It was awesome. It was really, genuinely, it was a great car. Just a great car.
Okay.
I'm not joking. They're a really good car. Like Toyotas are great. They're not like an American car, all weird plastic and crappy basically. So yeah, it was nice. It was a really good rental car.
That is a fascinating opinion on the Toyota RAV4.
What is wrong with the RAV4? Honestly, what is wrong with that car?
It's like a go-kart with wheels. It's the smallest possible vehicle you could have rented.
No, but it's
it's
not the
smallest
old one.
possible vehicle.
The smallest
Yeah, but it's
possible
not-
SUV-shaped vehicle.
Okay.
No, but there's the old one was even smaller because you could the one with that had the tire on the back, right? The new one doesn't have the tire. It's like a sedan it's like a sedan that has big wheels. It's an awesome car. It's expensive as hell over here. I don't know what the prices are in America. It's just insanely expensive here, but yeah, it's a great car.
So it's
huge.
$25,000. Oh, they're 4 doors now, so that's different.
Yeah, it's not I know what you're thinking of. The smaller one's like a Lada Niva, basically.
Have you not been paying attention to RAV4s for 15, 16 years?
There aren't a lot of them driving around out here.
Oh. Well,
Also, I don't go outside.
They stopped making the 2-door one a long time ago.
Yeah. The last time I saw that was when I was watching Making a Murderer.
Oh, there's the old one right there. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
Like what do people drive in Phoenix then?
Very large pickup trucks, very large SUVs, and very large cars.
Because that wasn't the case in LA when you drive around. Like you see all sorts of cars.
Yeah, that's because you gotta have a car that you can park somewhere. And if everybody drove around in an oversized pickup truck, you wouldn't be able to park anywhere.
Yeah, but no, I just saw you'd see like Honda Civics from like 1998 still driving around with the windows down because you know for a fact that car doesn't have AC. It was weird, Yeah, it was, I don't know.
There's still a fair amount of Honda Civics and Toyota Corollas and Camrys around here, but the vast majority of people have 4-door pickup trucks that also have giant truck beds and lifted and. Yeah, just people are the worst here.
And some people have sports cars that aren't that sporty, like, Ford Mustangs.
The amount of like people that rented a Mustang from Europe that came because when we went to like the Yosemite or Death Valley and Vegas and stuff, like we wanted a Jeep because we just knew we'd be riding around for a long time and I wanted something bigger because I'm tall, right? But like the amount of couples that we saw when we went to the car rental at LAX, they just you'd see them and you just see they're Slavs. We can just we can pick each other out basically. You just see like just couples just one after the other going into a Mustang or a what's the Chevy, the same
Camaro,
the Camaro, yeah. Just all of them renting and I'm just thinking they're probably doing the same sort of route that we are, like LA to Vegas and then to maybe to San Francisco and all of that in that crappy sort of Mustang, just really low to the ground, no suspension, like Jesus. And then
when if they're convertibles, that's one thing because I think most of the rental Mustangs are convertibles, so people can enjoy that sort of.
Not
thing,
all of them. Yeah, not all of them.
No, there's literally no reason to rent a non-convertible Mustang ever.
Yeah. And then when I saw the highways in San Francisco, which I don't know, were probably built in the 50s and just never fixed, like how you go on those roads with a low riding car like that, you just probably die. Your kidneys just jump out of your mouth at some point. It's just insane. Like the infrastructure in America, people. You have some work to do. That's all I'm gonna say.
You should spend a little more time in Phoenix. We spend way more money on our roads than we do basically anything else in the state, and they're all very smooth and very comfortable.
It is weird to me the few times that I've been to Phoenix how wide and perfectly paved all of the streets are. Because you would think the heat would crack all of the pavement and stuff, but they just keep repairing it. They must spend a small fortune on.
Yeah. Also, we've got this nice mix of asphalt that sort of has refurbished tires ground up in it, so it's got a nice smooth rubber feel. But like when we lived in California, we would come back for the holidays. We would be like on the last main highway coming home to one of my parents' place, and I'd be like, why is the car all of a sudden just way quieter? It's like, because the roads, they don't have giant cracks in them and vibration lines every 5 feet. What's the deal here?
Yeah, because when we did my show, Dan, you showed me where you live on Google Street View.
That's right. I forgot I did that.
And he showed me I thought it was like what he was showing me the road. I thought that was a highway because that's what a highway looks like, and it was basically just a normal road with a bike lane that was as wide as the. So I don't know what our highways is basically 2 main lanes and then a smaller lane if your car breaks down, so you can stop, right? And the emergency lane, yeah. And so the bike lane on that road basically looked like an emergency lane. Just ridiculous. Yeah. So I've seen that at least on. And when we drove to the Grand Canyon from Vegas, like that road was like way better than anything in like LA and San Francisco, to be honest, you know.
Yeah. LA spends their money on more important things than concrete.
LA spends their money unevenly on road repair. So if you drive through Pacific Palisades or some of the more affluent neighborhoods like Bel Air or something, perfectly paved roads. If you drive through other areas that are not as affluent, you get worse roads, which is strange because it's the same city government. It's almost like they misallocate the funds. But
yeah, like you ever been on the 10 out by West Covina? That's a great road to drive on.
I was on that when we went to Palm Springs last weekend.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird.
Can I just say something? Because the one time I figured Joe was just being Joe when he told me to. I think you said, what's where the Hollywood stars are, the things on the pavement.
yeah. That's Hollywood. The Walk of Fame.
The Walk of Fame. Yeah. So when I said we're gonna go to the Walk of Fame, right? Joe just said, "Don't just burn it down." I think those were those are your exact words. And I figured that's an over exaggeration. That's just Joe being Joe. I think that's maybe worse than Times Square in New York.
I agree.
Genuinely, I think that's probably the worst thing about our West Coast trip was the 30 minutes we spent on the street there.
Yeah.
We did get to see Kathy Griffith. No. Who did we see? No, not Kathy.
Kathy
Griffith.
Bates.
Who's Kathy Bates? Sorry. Yeah. We did see Kathy Bates, so that's a thing.
What, down there? Was she getting a star?
Yes, she was getting a star. So we saw Kathy Bates, but other than that, that is the biggest sort of tourist trap / worst tourist attraction / Joe was the right thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In my entire life. It is awful.
Everybody says, "Oh, you're so negative about this stuff," and I'm like, I'm not joking. Don't go there. It's awful. And then everybody goes there anyways because they're just like, I keep seeing it, and I got to say that I experienced the thing, and it's just like, all right, fine, but.
Yeah, but in like a 4-second montage of Hollywood clips, that's different than like being trapped between all of these taxi cabs honking at each other and horrible people.
Yeah,
it's
gross.
It's the worst. Yeah,
it's all the shops.
Genuinely, yeah.
All the shops are gross, and they're all selling junk, and all the sidewalks are nasty. And there's just people everywhere, throngs of people. You can't breathe. Like you feel like you're just surrounded by just horribleness on all sides. So no, I don't recommend Hollywood to anyone. I don't think it's worth going to. If you go to Hollywood, it should only be to go to the Hollywood Bowl, which is the amphitheater, and that's for an event, and then you leave.
It's very close. Yeah, I made one of the last times I was working out there. I made the unfortunate mistake of getting an Airbnb that was like a block and a half west of the Walk of Fame. So that was like the shortest route to the freeway every day for me was driving past all of that crap.
Ew.
No, it's genuinely it's awful. Like, and I'm not saying awful and as like just like what awful actually means. If you look into the dictionary, it's interminable. It's genuinely, there's no words really. Like it's the opposite of Universal Studios, which is amazing.
Yeah, it's a little different to compare it to a theme park, but
yeah, no, but that's a genuine theme park. Like that was because I think the ticket, right, which is okay. The ticket I think is like $115, and it was towards the end of our trip. So we were like really trying to look after the budget at that point. And I thought, this is just going to be the biggest ripoff ever. Like, who pays 100, euros basically for that theme park? And I was depressed. And that was maybe the greatest experience ever. It was really great. Like, really, just genuinely, I had so much fun there. It's ridiculous, to be honest. Like, even the Jurassic Park ride, which starts off as being the worst thing the worst ride I've ever been on, and then ends as the greatest ride ever. But like, I just thought it was going to be riff. And the guy at the counter when we went to buy the tickets said, "Oh, there's a fast lane ticket," right? And this is like, you have to understand, like the average sort of salary here is 1,000 euros. So that's like $1,200 or like $1,100, right? That's the average salary here. And the guy was trying to upsell me from €100 ticket to the front of the line ticket, which is like $240. And I genuinely started laughing at the guy. Like, I was basically being mean. But yeah, so we got the normal tickets, but it was have you actually been there? Like, I imagine you've been there, right? To Universal Studios?
Yes. I have. The last time I went was more than 10 years ago, to the California one. I have been to the Florida one also, which is bigger, and it's also weird because some of the things are split up into a neighboring park that Universal also owns called Islands of Adventure. And that I haven't been to since they started, I think, taking all the Marvel stuff out and all that since the Disney purchase. But I have to say, if you're interested in theme parks, Orlando's the way to go. California's are tiny. But
still, it's the one in LA. That's genuinely, like, the Simpsons ride is amazing. Like, we went twice. Like, was that good? Genuinely, like, I had so much fun. Like, I had so much fun there. It's ridiculous. Like, we didn't wait in line at all because, it was not like the kids were in school in America, because it was at the end of September, I guess. Yeah. So, there wasn't, like, it was crowded, but like the most we waited was like 5 minutes, like the whole day.
Oh, that's great.
It's just like the Simpsons ride is awesome. The Harry Potter thing, and I haven't read Harry Potter. I haven't seen the Harry Potter movies, and I'm like a Kidditch or whatever the hell that's called fan now because I flew. It was like 3D and stuff. It's just amazing. We ate a Simpsons donut. They have the big donuts. We got the one with the maple glaze and bacon for like $5. Amazing. Again, just awful food, but great, right? And, like I said, the Jurassic Park ride at the beginning is just crap because you see the dinosaurs are old and broken. But then you go into a little tunnel and it turns into the greatest thing ever because it's like a giant T-Rex coming at you. Just awesome.
Spoilers.
Like a commercial. Well, yeah, spoiler. Yeah, but,
That was
I've been there for like 20 years.
That's not a spoiler at this point. I think we should probably wrap it up on this positive note about the great experience that you had at Universal Studios, and close it out there.
Hopefully, at some point, Universal Studios will put in a Spies Like Us ride where you get to dress like a big fuzzy guy and walk around in some snow, and then fire a fake missile up into the air.
I enjoyed the Fast and the Furious thing. That's how good it is. Okay, the Transformers ride was great. It was genuinely great. And the movies are just, they're govno, basically. Okay. But like, the ride was amazing. So,
Anžet likes theme parks.
Okay. And then we will drive our vans off into the sunset. Thank you very much to Anžet for being on and for talking about an 80s movie of questionable merit that I had selected because I basically only like one joke that I laugh at all the time. And thanks to, of course, Dan and everything else. And goodbye, listeners.
We'll see you guys all at Burning Van 2017.
You just need to find Dan at the movie theater.
Yeah, me and Joe are going to show up, Dan.
You should. It'd be great.
Yeah.
I'll have some creepy guy with long hair and a machine gun standing outside telling you it's closed. And then, we'll let you in with the password.
But the point is you won't be there, right? You'll say you'll come,
Maybe I will, maybe I won't. You don't know.
I do know. You just won't show up. Like, me and Joe are going to be there. We're going to hug again, awkwardly. Have fun, eat some burger, some beer. And then Dan's going to be at home. Because,
Well, I mean, he could just be late. You never know.
That is true. Dan being
really,
Dan.
really, really late. I'm going to show up at Father's office at some point, and you guys just won't be there.
Well, the next time you go to Father's office, just say, "Okay, I'm here. Sorry I'm late, guys."
I'll send you a picture of the bar and some fries and be like, "Hey, I'm here. Where are you guys at?"
Did you guys go home already?
Okay. Tole je bil v bistvu ta aparatus / Defocused. Če vam je tole všeč, ona dva delata pač podcast Defocused, ki ga najdete na defocused.co. Res je fajn, jaz ga redno poslušam. Tako, eden mojih omiljenih, tako sem redno na začetku rekel, ki je malo weird. Sicer je pa Joe tudi na Twitterju, afna Joe Steel, pa Dan na afna Dan Sturm. Jaz na Twitterju afna Zato, tako da mi lahko tam težite. Drugač pa, tako kot vedno, ful hvala vsem, ki podpirate aparatus, polnim, ki ga boste. Sicer pa to je do naslednjič to, ko upam, da bom lahko govoril z pljuči, ki bojo vsaj marginalno delovala, ne tako kot zdajle, ko moram na 45 sekund pauzo vzeti, zato da vdihnem. Tako da hvala, ki ste poslušali. To je to do naslednjič. Čau.